Welcome back, guys. This is episode 5 of the AcidDrop Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Luis. How are you doing today,
What's
bro?
going on, guys?
How are you doing today, bro?
Doing good. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. It was a good day today. But
Good.
I want to get started with some NFL, bro. Um, we saw that I don't know if it was like during this weekend or no, I'm pretty sure it was last weekend. JJ Watt left the Texans, and he's
Mm.
still kind of shopping around for different teams. I saw on Twitter how he said that it takes him like he was just joking, saying like it takes like an hour for him to like choose a restaurant like on a delivery like a food delivery app. And he's like
Oh yeah,
choosing a team is gonna take a lot longer. But
yeah.
what do you think about his option to leave that? Like what or my main question is who do you see him going to? Do you see him going to like a Super Bowl play, like a contending team, or just somebody who offers him the best money?
Well, I know on a list that he gave Houston, um, he wants a good quarterback.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, um, I can't remember how that list went. I think it was quarterback. Um, I know quarterback was number one on the list. Uh, and then I think it was like money second, and I can't remember the rest, but
Location.
um, yeah, something like that. But I could honestly see him going to reunite with his brother in Pittsburgh.
Okay, okay.
Um, I could also see him there in Tennessee.
The Titans.
That would be pretty cool. I know the Cowboys are interested in bringing him, but I really don't think they're gonna pick anyone up until they get Dak Prescott signed. So I don't know about that. And then who else did I say was interested? The Browns are interested in him. That'd be a pretty good fit with him and Miles Garrett.
Okay, okay.
Um, I think there's one more. So I think uh
Well, like
yeah, I think I saw those four.
okay, okay. I mean, those are pretty good teams. Like, I mean, we've seen how
Yeah.
the Titans have they eliminated the Ravens 2 years ago, and they did pretty good. Like this season, although they didn't make it as far as they did last season, but they still did pretty good.
Mhm.
And we seen what the Browns were capable of this playoffs, this previous playoffs that just happened. So I mean, those would be some good options for him. But
Yeah.
you said that one of his main priority is having a good quarterback. I mean, from my knowledge,
Yeah,
isn't
so that's
like a defense.
that's what's like weird about him going to Pittsburgh.
Huh?
Because I mean, Big Ben is like up there in age now, so he hasn't been playing his best. Um, I don't know, man. It's gonna be like his number one priority was to be able to trust the other side of the football, basically, like to
Oh,
trust the offense.
yeah.
So
Well, I don't
he
know.
was saying that a QB, a good QB, was his main, like, I guess, concern.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes
So
sense.
yeah.
What would you think
Mm.
about the Chiefs probably picking him up? They would probably need something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all because that with him, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, that would be pretty nice. I mean, they were like you saw in the Super Bowl, they weren't really getting to Brady.
Yeah.
Brady was having time, and I think they only got sacked once. So
Hmm.
I think JJ Watt would definitely put him over the edge.
Yeah, because I mean, just like his quickness and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Just power.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you mentioned the Cowboys, like probably not picking up anybody due to what's going on with him and with them and Dak. What do you feel about them still not offering him an extension? Do you potentially see Dak shopping around with like a different team, or what's like his contract situation right now? Is this like his last year, or is he a free agent like this?
So the Cowboys have the option to franchise tag him, which is like 37 million a year. I think 37.8 million.
Okay.
But for a lot of players, they don't like the
Franchise.
franchise
Okay. Why? Like.
just because there's no guaranteed money as far as like long term.
Oh, okay. It's just like a 1 year deal, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
essentially, yeah. So that's why that's why everything's so crazy now because of what happened last year. How Dak literally broke his leg
Yeah.
on a franchise tag. Like that could easily happen to anyone. And luckily, Dak was able to recover from that.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's back in shape, but if anyone breaks a leg, like that could be career ending. So that's why people hate signing that franchise tag. But I think I've been seeing reports that they're leaning towards getting a deal done and not using the franchise tag.
Yeah, because I
I
mean,
think that's probably the last resort. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dak were to sit out if he gets franchise tag.
yeah, because I mean, I feel like if they do franchise tag, like I'm pretty sure he's walking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Again this year, I'm pretty sure he's just gonna walk. So, I mean, that's like 2 years in a row, and like you said, he got hurt. I mean,
yeah,
he's not gonna want to risk that shit again, where he has to sit out another year, and I'm like, that's 2 years where teams don't know where he's at anymore. You know?
mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it doesn't come to that, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I believe that. I mean, I know you usually like to bully me, saying that in just like 4 games, he had better statistics than Lamar Jackson, and I mean like he is a really good quarterback, which like it would suck for the Cowboys to lose, but I mean like I don't know. I guess my opinion would be like um this coming up draft, I believe, has like a very good QB like lineup as well. Because isn't that one guy who I think? I mean, he reminds me of Sunshine from I don't know if it's Remember the Titans, the quarterback.
Oh,
But shit, I forgot something Lawrence, I believe.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence. Yeah,
but yeah, I
he's
mean,
most likely going to go first in the draft.
yeah,
I doubt the Cowboys will really trade up number one to go get him. Like I said, I think I don't know, man. They're like, I kind of get the perspective of franchising him because from a business standpoint,
yeah,
he did just come off a broken leg,
yeah.
so you don't want to give. It's hard to give someone that
That,
amount of money because most likely he's gonna want at least I would say around 40 million a year.
because I believe that they offered him
Um,
a 5 year contract, right? But he didn't like he wanted like a shorter length contract.
so basically, they offered him a 5-year deal.
Hmm.
He didn't want that. He wanted a 4-year. That way, when the cap resets, he can re-sign for more.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
But that's more of like the agent. That's more of like the agent where the agent comes into play. Like, hey, you can get more money this way if you sign a 4-year instead of the 5-year. Um, but I mean, who doesn't want to take more money? So
yeah,
I don't
but at
blame
the
him.
same time, then you're like, now you're in a situation like this, where you're not getting a deal done, at least
Mm-hmm.
as fast as you were hoping to,
Mm-hmm.
and it led to the Cowboys franchise tagging him, and then it led to him getting hurt. So I mean, I believe that probably him not accepting it at that time, because I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have gotten more money like after those 4 years, because like you just said like the salary cap just resets. But I mean, 1 year wouldn't hurt. Like waiting 1 more year wouldn't hurt, because I mean,
Yeah, and then um, what's it called? Um, Damn, what was I gonna say? Damn, I just forgot low key. It just slipped my mind. Damn, I really just forgot what I was gonna say.
Would you like to move on to some NBA then? Is that a sign?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to the NBA segment. I believe it was on Sunday. Yeah. It was on Sunday. We saw the Pelicans come back against the Celtics. They were, I think, up by like 24 points, I believe.
Yeah.
And the Celtics just blew it, man. Like, yeah, props to the Pelicans for, showing effort and shit, not giving up. But damn, dude, like I think we've said like for the past like two episodes that the Celtics team is just like struggling, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and you said that they probably need like a third man, but even whenever like Kemba might be balling, like they still they still can't seem to catch a win.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at that game, Kimba didn't really play particularly well.
Uh huh.
And I don't know what it is, but it's seeming to me that uh I don't know, man. So like Terry Rozier leaves,
Mhm.
and now he's having a really good year with the Hornets.
Yeah.
Uh, they bring in Kyrie. You know, they don't mesh things out. Now Kyrie's an all-star starter.
Yeah.
Gordon Hayward comes in. You know, they're trying to get him into the rotation now. Gordon Hayward's having an all-star year or
Yeah.
all-star type year. So it's weird. It's like I just don't know what they. I don't know if it's like coaching or something, but something's not right there. And
Maybe it's just potential.
I know a couple weeks ago, Danny Ainge was the GM. He was kind of blaming himself,
Yeah.
saying that they didn't have enough talent
Mhm.
on the team to be like a contender. He was basically blaming the difficulties on himself.
Okay.
So um,
But I mean, I believe.
it's a
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it's a trade deadline. The trade deadline hasn't been passed yet, right?
No. I believe. Well, actually, I'm not sure now that it's actually like a shorter season. So, but I don't think so. I think it was like in March. Like I
I
believe.
can't remember to be honest,
Yeah,
but they.
I think it's early
I
March.
wouldn't be surprised if they go out and try to get some more players because they if they want to be a contender, they need it.
Uh huh. Well, I mean, you were saying how they probably don't have like enough talent, but my what's it called? My opinion was like, well, you weren't like you said that that's what the GM said, but in my eyes, I thought that it would have been like because they have too much talent. You know what I mean? Where they have like the guy like Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum. Like yeah, we seen how Kemba Walker has a on and off days, very inconsistent. But I mean, like we know that. Well, hopefully that he can just go back to. I believe he was with the Hornets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can get back to how he was with them. I mean, hopefully, but like like you said, I mean, we saw how Gordon Hayward was with them, Kyrie was with them, and they didn't really mesh. So, like in my eyes, I think it's just like probably it's just that they have too much talent. Where like a lot of players are really good whenever it comes to like them getting more touches. Whenever you have that many people who play really well, it probably like decreases the touches that they should get.
Yeah, but I mean, right now it's just Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
Like they're the two main offensive threats. So it's not really, to me, it's not really about talent right now. I mean, like as far as too much talent,
Oh, okay, okay.
um,
Because I mean,
I think.
you also got to think about how they picked up that one rookie. What is his name? Like Peyton Pritchard.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing pretty good as well.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's not doing pretty. I mean, he's not doing he's not doing too bad. Like I believe that he was a good pickup for him. Like I know that Celtics fans are going crazy for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's just. I think they just need a little bit more help. I'm always seeing Jalen Brown and Tatum putting up numbers, but they're not accounting for wins. So I think they need a little bit more help.
Yeah.
I think it's really just about Kimba being consistent, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that they're at exactly at 500.
I'm not sure. I can't pull it up on my phone, to be honest.
Okay. Um, but anyways, moving on to the some Nets versus the Clippers. I mean, the Nets have been looking pretty straight without KD. Like obviously, we talked about this like when we were hanging out, not like obviously like off the podcast and stuff. Um, that KD is just like I mean we were debating on whether he's a better shooter or whether he's a better scorer, and what's it called? Like we were also saying how he doesn't really need the ball in his hands to get it like to get his shots going, just because he has so much shit like in his bag where like I just stated,
Mm,
uh, he's a very consistent scorer. He's a very consistent shooter. But so far it looks like that James Harden and Kyrie Irving have gotten it going like these past 5 games. They beat uh they beat high level teams out here in the West. Well, how do you feel about them? Like I know you were saying how that they would pick it up sooner or later, and I mean it looks to me that they actually did pick it up because whenever we made the last podcast, I believe they were like in the fourth place, and now they're fighting for first place.
yeah, yeah, and I think, like I said, it's still like a new group, so they still have a lot of time to get like figure out what they want, what they like, and that'll obviously progress the more they play together.
Hmm.
Um, but like I said, uh, coming down the playoffs is really going to depend on if they can come collectively as a team to play defense.
Okay.
Because I don't really have to be a great defensive team, but you have to be a team that can get stops, like timely stops,
Okay, like
like to stop a run or to stop momentum.
mhm.
Just like you don't have to be like a great defensive team, but you got to be able to stop like runs from spurting out or just get timely stops when you need to.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, but one thing I really do want to talk about because I mean, as you know, Kawhi is my favorite player. What, what would, how do you feel about them calling that foul on Kawhi due to that charge? Do you believe that it was like a legit flop by James, or do you think he might have actually pushed off of him? Because we do see how he extends his hand. But, I mean, I don't believe it was as hard as James, made it seem.
Yeah, James definitely sold it a little bit. I think in that late of like the game, a lot of refs don't make that call,
Yeah,
especially towards the offense. Like
yeah,
if anything, it's towards the defense. Um, but I guess the ref that had the angle on the foul saw Kawhi extend his arm.
yeah,
Plus Harden's flop. Um, I mean, it went to Harden, and it sucks because I would have either we would have had a game-winning shot from the Nets, or we go to overtime.
yep.
Because I would have put him at one. I think I would have put him at 107 or 109
Mhm. Yeah,
to
yeah,
tie the game
you're right.
with like 8 seconds left. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So
And they ended up beating them. I think like 112 to
I think it
108.
was by 4.
Yeah. Like 112 to 108,
Yeah,
I believe.
I think so.
And what's it called? Moving on to sorry, I'm like kind of like transitioning onto like pretty fast, but moving on to like the Mavs and the Celtics. Um, you were telling me how the Mavs were gonna pick it up at the right time. I was thinking they might have picked it up right after the All Star, but it seems to us right now that the Mavs are actually catching rhythm actually, like, before that. How do you feel about that?
So it was just a matter of time before. I think the offense wasn't just clicking the way it was last year.
Yeah,
But it seems to me Luka's been able to get um, just everyone involved, everyone back to their roles.
but you
Um,
also got to think about how they let go of Seth, which I think we believe.
mhm.
I believe we talked about it previously. that I mean, although he's not a really good defender, but he plays a major role in your offense. So
Mhm.
letting go of somebody else, like somebody like that, like like a JJ caliber player. I mean, that's kind of pretty bad, because it forces teams to guard the three.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you kind of take for granted for a player like that who can like space the floor, especially with someone with Luka, because even though he's pretty slow, he can still like get by you
Hmm.
and suffocate the defense. So to be able to kick out to someone who is consistently a 50%
Yeah,
3-point shooter or like above 45, that's someone you gotta account for and close out to. So it helps a lot. And, um, but they're finding their rhythm now, and hopefully it doesn't affect them. Hopefully the All Star break doesn't affect them.
hmm,
Like hopefully they can still come out of the All Star like break and still be effective. Because that does happen to sometimes to teams.
yeah.
Like they'll start getting in a rhythm, and then right when that All Star break hits, their
Break.
momentum just breaks. So we'll see.
I feel you, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they're a game and a half away from being in the sixth seed. In the sixth seed, I know right now they're currently sitting in the ninth, I believe. So I mean, this is like I know you talked about this a lot, and like that this is a very very competitive Western Conference, and
Mm-hmm.
if a team goes like on a let's just say like a 5 game winning streak, and like the sixth seed might go like on a 3 game losing streak, they might drop from being
Mm-hmm.
sixth all the way down to 10th, or like the 10th
Yep.
might go up to like like eighth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's literally it's tough on the West because like every game is important out there
Yeah.
because you just have like balanced teams everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, so it's really every game you got to take it,
And like
serious.
I've heard like a lot of like just like people saying like on Twitter how they want the NBA to get rid of the conference altogether, just because like you have a team like the Mavs sitting in ninth, like the Grizzlies sitting in 10th. Like they're a lot better than like some of the top Eastern teams. Like a better record, at least like like a standpoint from a record standpoint. Like it sucks seeing
Mm-hmm.
a team being so close to like probably being like the eighth seed in the West to not being able to go, and then there's like a team who's below 500 out there in the East, and they're getting a chance to play in the playoffs. Like, how do you feel
Yeah, so
about?
like the thing with that is like it's kind of hard because so if you want to keep um if you want to keep or no, I'm sorry, if you don't want to keep the conferences, um, but you want to keep the amount of games in the season,
Hmm.
that kind of puts more travel like hassle on the players,
Yeah.
and most players aren't for that. Just
Okay.
because unless they were like to shorten the season,
Yeah.
but most and then where that comes into effect is most owners don't want to do that because that means they're losing money,
But then at the same time,
and the less money they make, the less money they can pay their players,
but at the,
and the players want
obviously,
as much as they can get. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's also
it's kind of like a domino effect. So it kind of everything kind of affects everything else. Uh, I wish it was like that. To be honest, I wish it was like no, like I wish you just got the best 16,
yeah,
and then like playoffs is one, the one seed plays the 16,
yeah, yeah,
two plays the 15, like just like that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Um, but this is how it is. It's all about money.
Absolutely, bro. But at the same time, like, I think this year they're playing 72 games. I mean,
So what?
I think this year they're playing 72 games. Like they're having a shorter. I mean, I believe that whenever there's like less games, like every game, like I don't want to say every game counts, but more games count than like teams aren't just like gonna like how do you say like I guess like I don't want to say load manage, but
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of it, where they might not try certain like against certain teams, But like
Mhm.
whenever it's like a shorter season, I believe that it's gonna be more competitive. Meaning, and if you see more like competition between like certain teams, the ratings are gonna go up. You know what I mean? So I believe like that might counter effect, like like yeah, it might be less money because like there's not as many games where like people go up and show up, like go to like to the games, but I
Mhm.
feel like it's gonna be like a more like better where it's like televised because a lot of people are gonna want to tune in seeing these teams compete, because like more games start to count, like where like how we're seeing like in the West, if you lose one game, you're out of the like potentially like playoff spot.
Yeah, but like to your point, like just to play the devil advocate, excluding like this whole Corona stuff, once you are able to get back like, fans back in the arenas, you're losing like thousands of dollars, almost maybe millions, just off a couple games. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
kind of where that comes into play. And then plus all the commercials that they play like during the games, that's a lot of advertising that goes on as well.
oh
So
okay.
it's just a lot of money that takes part into like a lot of money would be lost
Hmm.
if you shorten the season and take away the conferences. That's why like the players from their perspective, they wanted this season to start Martin Luther King Day, I believe it was.
Okay.
But the front office and all that stuff, they wanted. I mean, the sooner the better.
Yeah.
It's for that money, so they can make that money back up, and so they can still pay their players and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
now you don't have any fans or as much fans, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so all that kind of stuff plays into.
Oh shit. Well, see, I mean, I'm glad to have a co-host. I mean, it, it not only gives like the viewers knowledge, but it also gives like one of us like knowledge because I mean I didn't really think about it like that. So I mean it's pretty nice like listening it to your from your perspective.
It's
But
all business, man.
what's it called? Moving on to the Suns and the Blazers. It was a very good game by the Suns. They blew out the Blazers I think by 32. I think it was like 100 to
Mm-hmm.
102. I mean, DeAndre Ayton went off, bro. Like, he had a really good game. Seems like they were just kind of like, I don't want to say feeding him the ball, but I mean, he was just getting whatever he wanted, like out there in the paint. And I mean, what's it
Yeah,
called?
man. Because a lot of yeah, go ahead, go. Ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that we've seen how last year, like you previously stated how they went undefeated in the bubble, and they still didn't make it to the playoffs. But this year they're I think yeah they're fourth place in the Western team, and it's by a lot, bro. Like they've only lost like 10 to 20 games. Like I know it's like a big margin, but like I don't know if it's 10 or I don't know if it's 20, but they're like here. Let me take a quick check real quick. But yeah, bro, like they've been
It's
playing.
definitely between. I think it's between 10 and 15
Okay,
as
okay.
far as like games lost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they've won 20, they lost 10, and I mean like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we've like how we said like just a while ago, the West is very packed, and I mean for them to be up by damn near 3 games, I guess not a lot, but from what they were at last year to what they are now, like that's pretty solid. Yeah, like you told me how CP was a very good pickup from like for them. But one thing I do want to say is that, man, like Devin Booker's also like bringing his A game. A lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of people were upset because they never gave him like a All Star appearance, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people like backed it up by saying, "Oh, it's because the Suns like aren't a winning team." But now that they aren't, we saw how they released like the All Star like starters and the reserves, and yet he still didn't make it to. He still didn't make it. Like so it defeats the narrative where like okay the Suns aren't winning, so Devin Booker doesn't deserve them, doesn't deserve the doesn't deserve to be in the All Star. And now that they're in the fourth, bro, like I mean, him and Dame. I don't think Dame got selected to be an All Star either.
No, Dame's in. He just wasn't a starter.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
like, how do you feel about that?
Uh, about Devin Booker, or Dame.
Devin.
For Devin, I mean it's tough because if you look at the All Star reserves, like for the West, um, there's not. It's hard because I mean obviously if it's a snub or if you think he got snubbed, you got to replace him with someone.
Yeah.
And I mean for guards, it's Chris Paul,
Mhm.
I mean Paul George,
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell.
And
So
Steph.
like and Steph was a starter.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. About like kind of just like listing the like
Oh
the
yeah, Steph, Luca,
yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Paul George. Like who do you take out?
I mean,
Like in that sense, like that's kind of like I mean, because if he gets in, obviously someone has to come out.
I feel
So
like you could move probably like although Paul George is playing a shooting guard this position like a guard this season like the previous season. I mean, you can easily move him to the forward position. Has he's played with like the Pacers and the OKC.
yeah, I mean, but that's just not how he's playing right now, though. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to because they got Kawhi at small forward.
Uh huh.
So I mean, and it's him at forward. You got LeBron, Kawhi,
Yeah.
AD. Who else? I can't remember who else was on there. Um, damn, I can't. I just slipped my mind who was on the list. I know Rudy Gobert is on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jokic is a starter. Um,
I'm kind of like trying to like find the list.
yeah, yeah.
It's they got Davis, like Rudy, um, and Zion.
Zion, yeah, Zion's been having a great year, and he's classified as a forward. So
Yeah,
it's like, who do you really take out? All of them have been having like great years, so it's kind of tough.
yeah. Or how do you feel about Damian Lillard not being a starter? I mean, we've seen that he's like on a MVP type season where he's hit like a bunch of clutch moments for. He's had a bunch of clutch moments for the Trailblazers this year where they were down like coming in the fourth quarter, and like probably like the last 5 to 4 minutes. I mean, we just see that it's Dame time. He's proven
Hmm.
time again that he's a very good clutch shooter.
Yeah, I honestly think, me personally, I would have put Dame in the starting lineup ahead of Luca.
Okay.
Um, 'Cause I think Steph and Dame have been like the two best guards
Hmm.
playing in the West. I know it's tough because like Donovan Mitchell has been playing his ass off.
Yeah.
Because essentially he is the best player on the best team in the West right now.
Yep. And
So, but I just think Dame and Steph have been playing like on another level right now. So I would have gave them to the nods. But I think it came down to the fan voting,
oh, okay, okay.
and I mean, Luka's not just a
Just like
popular vote here. I mean, he's international, so
yeah,
you gotta kind of take that into like consideration and stuff. So because it was a tiebreaker, and because I know it was the media and the players had Dame above Luka,
hmm
but the fan votes had Luka above Dame.
okay.
So the fan votes is 50%, the media is 25%, and then the players are 25.
Oh,
So the fan outweighs the media and the players. So
I mean, yeah, it does make sense because it is like a fan favorite. I don't want to say a fan favorite, like but it is for the fans. Like that type of game, and it's for the fans. So I mean, it
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Um, so what do you think about like moving on to the Wizards and the Lakers? What do you think about that Wizard comeback, bro? I
yeah. I
mean,
mean, I told you it was just a matter of time before. I was just really kind of waiting for Russ to get healthy again.
yeah,
So now, because because obviously we all know Russ can't shoot for shit. But he just impacts the game so much other ways.
Mm-hmm.
And
Obviously, you don't want to just leave the paint
I
open.
mean, he's just a competitor, so
Yeah.
he's gonna go out there every game, give his 100%, and do his best to try to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think the Wizards are like on a 5-game winning streak actually. So now they're climbing up in the rankings, coming for a high seed. I believe I don't know if they're a 5-game winning streak or they won like 5 of the last 6, but they're on a little winning streak. So
I think like the last 10, they're on an actual like 6-4. I mean they're above 500
yeah.
on the last 10, like on the last 10 games. And I mean yeah, like right now, I mean they can make a case for the 8th seed, like for the Chicago Bulls, who like
Mm-hmm.
they're 14-6, and the Washington Wizards are 11-18. I mean it's not that far behind. It's just like literally like 2.5 games. So I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, I mean, they're making a really good run right now. Hopefully, they can keep this up. But go ahead.
Yeah, for them, it's something you just gotta take game by game.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't look at the big picture right now. Just one game at a time. Take it into its own game.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to control what you can control.
Okay.
And I mean, I know Russ will get the most out of like his teammates and out of Bradley Beal. So I think they'll be fine. I think they will sneak into the playoffs.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't think that. I mean, I don't want to say this about like the Bulls, just because I mean we've seen how dominant they were back like in the '90s. But I mean, and I believe that I mean it sucks to like just like how much bad luck the Bulls have had like since then, like with how
Yeah.
with what happened with Derrick Rose, with what happened with
Yeah.
Butler, like what's
Yeah.
happening now to Zach Levine. I mean, like they get good players, but it just I don't know what happens. But
Yeah.
um, shit, I kind of forgot where I was going like for that. But yeah, oh yeah. Like the Wizards do have the potential to like climb up to the 8th seed, probably even the 7th seed. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like I don't want to say that if the Wizards don't make it to the playoffs, that it might affect Westbrook's career, just because we know how well he is on like to do it like on a team where you don't like see going to the playoffs, make it to the playoffs. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
had his moments where he's gotten out of like gotten out in the first round, but you got to think about it like they go up against really good teams because
Yeah.
they're so low like in the ranking. Like it's not it
Yeah.
doesn't have to do with like with just like it's his fault, or more like the situation that he's in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So I really don't think it'll affect his legacy that much, to be honest.
Okay, okay. But what do you think about LeBron missing that game winning? I mean, yeah, I think it was the game winning free throw, and then Bradley, like before, like Bradley ran up and he took a three, I believe, and he
I
missed.
think so.
Yeah, he missed it to go to overtime. Like, what do you think about LeBron?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, I mean, we've seen how inconsistent LeBron can be at the free throw. I mean, I know
Yeah.
a lot of people like to say that LeBron can't be like the greatest of all time if he can't shoot a free throw. You know what I mean? Like on crunch time, and it seems like where like that game proved where like potentially like yeah like he can't make I don't want to say a free throw to save his life, but to like to win the game.
Yeah. I think right now it's just a little bit of fatigue. I mean, he is 36
Mm-hmm.
in his 18th, 17th season.
No, I think 18th.
Yeah, so I mean, and he's missing AD too, so he is getting back to like just I was with Cleveland, like because I mean, you have nice players, but you don't have another star to like take the load off, especially with Anthony Davis being out.
Okay.
And LeBron is playing like I think only Fred VanVleet and Julius Randle are playing more minutes than him. So that has to take a toll a little bit, and it's a long season. Um, you don't have your next best player,
Yeah.
which takes out like so much
Stress off of like
pressure. Yeah, stress. Yeah, stress. And I mean, they've played like I want to say about 5, 6 overtime games already.
Yeah.
So I mean that also he played. I think he's played in most of them, or I think all of them, damn near.
Yeah.
So I just all that kind of, and then a lot of these are back-to-back games, just because it's a shorter season. So
I'm not
I
sure.
think it's just a bigger picture of them missing AD.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, like as you were saying that they've gone to like six overtime. I know that they went like to overtime with I don't know what team it was, but it was like a back to back. I think it was the Thunder. I might be wrong,
Yeah,
but
it might have been. Yeah.
they went to overtime back to back with I believe the Thunder. And I mean, I think before that, James was averaging his career low on minutes, or not career low, but like it was a significant less amount of minutes than what he was at last season. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously with so many overtime games, it raises that minutes per game average like crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean those,
Yeah.
because I think they're like 5 minutes, right? Or
Yeah.
I mean those 5 minutes. I mean if he's playing all that, like that's like what, like that's 30 more minutes, in just six games.
Yeah. And most of those overtimes he's playing like the whole way.
Yeah,
So.
and like you said, I mean fatigue does take a toll on you at that age, like especially when
Mm-hmm.
you're a person who like loves to just beat down his defender like out there in the paint. You're using
Mm-hmm.
a lot of your body, to drive in there to get a it's just to dominate, to dominate the
Yeah.
people out there. And I mean they're not putting no but like just any defender on LeBron. They're putting like they're like the teams are putting their best defender, so it does make it like a even more of a challenge, for LeBron. And
Yeah.
like you said, like right now, AD isn't playing, so maybe I believe that probably LeBron is just doing just enough to keep them as a top seed. Like he's probably not concerned too much about these like late games, but I feel like once AD comes back, they're just gonna hit the they're just gonna take off once again.
Yeah. And I think for LeBron, I think he knows they'll be in the playoffs,
Hmm.
and we see LeBron like it doesn't really matter what seed he's in.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in the finals either way.
Hmm.
So
We saw
I
it.
don't think he's too concerned about that, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, so I think he's just kind of doing what he can to keep it afloat,
Hmm.
just until AD comes back.
Like hold it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Well, moving on to the Warriors against the Knicks. It was Wiseman's first game back. I think he had an injury, and he had missed a significant amount of games for them. We saw that
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that they were playing bad without him, but they were missing him out there. You drafted a big man because you needed a big man. I mean,
Yep.
for him to get hurt, miss a significant time. Like I don't want to say it like affects his growth to be a dominant like big man, but I mean it does give less time out there on the court, to a very good rookie player. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he had himself a night. He had himself 14 points in just 16 minutes, because obviously he's on minutes restriction. But that's crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
14. That's like literally like damn near a point every minute.
Yeah.
Like damn near. And that's really nice to see, bro. Like I enjoy I enjoy watching him play, just because I mean I don't want to say just because he's having this this amount of impact on that team because of the team that they are. Because obviously the Warriors are very good, but like it doesn't it doesn't take it can like a casual can even say that he's really good.
Mhm.
Like somebody
And I
that
think Draymond is helping a lot
yeah
in building up James. Um, Draymond is a really good leader, and literally every game he's talking to him, telling him something different,
yes
showing him something that he needs to do or something that he can do to improve something. So it's like good to see like Draymond take him like under his wing
yeah
essentially.
yeah
Um, because I feel like as a rookie that helps a lot when you have like a proven player that's going out of their way just to make sure to go their way and be like, hey, if you do this, it becomes easier or becomes you slow the game down more or kind of stuff like that. So I feel like that's helped him a lot as well.
I remember on one instance I think it was like on Marc Gasol. He was like
Yeah,
fucking style on you. Like, I like that. I like that because
yeah,
this shit was just so funny, bro. Like, he was literally right next to them, bro. And he was still just like, bro,
hmm
I know you can just take him on, bro. Just take that motherfucker on there. Like, out there in the paint, you're stronger. I mean, obviously he wasn't saying that, but like that's damn near what he said. It was just like I
yeah.
can't
And sometimes it just takes another person to tell you just to be like, oh shit, he's right. Like,
yeah.
why am I not taking advantage of this mismatch or why am I not doing something to help my teammate out
hmm
to like exploit this? So
Yeah, because I mean, if you start like being aggressive in the paint, like they're gonna double team you if they believe that you do have that mismatch, which leads to like a
hmm
being open. Like
hmm
even if he doesn't take the shot, like or like just score a basket. Like I mean, if he's bodying that man down, obviously that's gonna lead to them calling that double team or a switch potentially. You know what I mean?
hmm
So it just allows a better flow on the offense.
And then you allow the person who was guarding you,
Yeah,
you allow that person to kind of like take advantage of that mismatch now.
yeah.
So essentially, they got to get subbed out,
hmm
and now you're already in a rhythm. So you kind of just keep things going from there.
That is true, but I mean, like I know we have already talked about Steph Curry being like a all-star starter, but man, this man has taken this team to another level, bro. Like I think he's
Yeah.
like 29 points, I believe, but
hmm
has had so many 3-point games, 30-point games this season alone. And I mean, like I believe that once people found out that Klay Thompson was missing a year due to the injury that he had, I believe that they again wrote this team off. And I mean, yeah, they
hmm
might not be like at a high seed, but it just goes to show like how wrong these people were. Where like it says that they said that Curry can't lead this Warriors team to a playoff.
Yeah.
Bro, like that man's just balling out, and like I like to see it because I mean, dude, like a guard who was like underrated, like throughout his whole career, like even to this day, where he's showed people he's like he was a like unanimous like MVP lead like candidate like back to back, and yet people still think that he's just gonna decline like the very next season,
hmm
and it sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously he's not the only player that they judge like that, but he's one of the main players that they do. Like like every year he's like, oh, when is he gonna hit this cliff or not? He can't do this, and then when he proves it, they like to say, oh, he can't do that. Like
hmm
like oh he can't do it without KD. KD goes down. I think they beat the Rockets. I think it was like against the Rockets. Like KD goes down. He leads them to the finals. Like and then Klay Thompson goes out. Now he's leading them to like having a very good like a very good spot to be like in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone was kind of writing him off, like in the beginning, where the Warriors were kind of losing. Like I think they had to start off pretty bad,
Yeah, they have.
But I think that actually kind of helped stuff. Just to kind of like, or I kind of just set him off actually. Like he started dropping 30, 40.
Yes,
I think he's had a 50-point game. So I mean, he's just
I believe he
50 or
also
60. He's had somewhere up there.
a 60 because I think
So I mean,
he beat his career high
oh, that's right. Yeah, 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 yeah,
of 64.
yeah, something like that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, and then with Draymond, you can always expect like to
Just
hold people accountable
yeah, contribution to
and just to have you like not get too worried about stuff on social media and shit. Um, Kind of give you that confidence just to stay within yourself, play you, all that kind of stuff.
okay, okay. And I mean, I know we were saying how well at least I was saying how Kelly Oubre might have caught his rhythm, but I mean, I just feel like right now he's like I mean he like being he's still inconsistent. We saw him drop 8 for 18. Like yeah, they still won, but obviously it was a major deal because of Steph. Steph had himself another night. Um,
Mm.
do you see Oubre turning out to be consistent, or do you see him being like this throughout this whole season?
Um,
Because I know you like to say, I mean, not like to say, but I know you have stated, like at least to me, that he right now he's trying to spread the floor, but he's a very good athlete. Where you believe that he should be driving more. I mean, do you still view it like that, or
yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't not to say he's like in the wrong system,
yeah?
but he's not in a system that caters to him.
Hmm.
Um, with the Warriors, with Steph, it's really about spacing the floor and all that kind of stuff. Um, I mean, Kelly Oubre doesn't do that, but he gives you. He's a hustle player,
Yep, he's a very
so
good.
it's like it's not something that you take like for granted. Like you have to have him out there on the court because he just makes you die for loose balls, get putback dunks, get extra offensive rebounds. So it's like it helps. Um, so I think you just gotta kind of find a consistent role for him
Hmm. Do you
of
think
what he can do, like night in night out.
Do you think moving him into the power forward position would be better than having him as a small forward, or is he a shooting guard? No, because they have Andrew Wiggins at shooting guard, don't they?
Yeah, no, I think it's better to keep him at small forward
Okay, okay,
because then you'd be pushing Draymond to the center, and then you'd be playing that small ball. But that small ball really worked well because Clay was there
okay.
to spread the floor.
Hmm.
So when Steph and Draymond were able to do like pick and rolls, um, you know, it helped a lot because Draymond, if Steph gives it back to Draymond, he knows Clay is most likely open, or they're setting a screen for Clay to get him open as well. Like
Okay.
they do a lot of off ball movement, so
So do you see them
I think
possibly?
it's
Go ahead.
I think it's better just to keep him at small forward.
Okay. Do you see them next season when Clay comes back? Do you see them sitting out Andrew, or do you see them sitting out Kelly? Because obviously they're not going to sit out Draymond. Obviously they're not going to sit out James because I mean, and obviously that doesn't really matter because it's Clay, who's a shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you believe? Or yeah, it actually kind of does matter because obviously, if you don't sit out either of them too, you're gonna have to have Kelly at the power forward, meaning you're gonna have to sit Dre and moving Andrew Wiggins to the small forward. Or do you?
I think you keep. I think you take Andrew Wiggins to the bench, and then you keep Kelly Oubre on the lineup just so um,
Better bench.
when Steph and Clay
Hmm.
get rest. That's kind of Andrew Wiggins' time to dictate the offense and all that kind of stuff.
And he's a very good.
Because I think Andrew Wiggins could do that better than Kelly Oubre can.
Okay.
Because I do think to be a contender, you have to have a pretty decent bench.
Hmm.
Um, because a lot of times in the playoffs and even in the finals, role players play such a huge part in playoffs or finals, like how we had Rondo last year for the Lakers
Yep.
and Caruso. Like they were playing out of their minds.
And same with
Like they were such a help to the Lakers. And I mean, we know LeBron and AD were gonna do, but
yeah.
Rondo and Caruso would just bring a spark off the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of I think that's what Andrew Wiggins would have to be next year for the Warriors.
I mean, we also saw it with like Tyler Hero and like what's his name? Fuck. Duncan. Yeah, and like and how it led them to being like in the finals with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Even pushing it to a six, like to a six game. A lot of people
Yeah.
do that, and I mean, like yeah, like you said, I mean, but at the same time, you're gonna have a very high, like a very high contract player coming off the bench. I mean, I guess it does like I was kind of just trying to say that would you want that yeah, it provides you like it provides like like you just said like a stable like bench like where you can trust your bench, but then again you're paying a player so much just for him to come off the bench. I mean, I know a lot of people are gonna criticize that.
I mean, he's not getting paid like max dollars, so I wouldn't really
Yeah,
worry too much about it. So I mean, if and coming off the bench is not like necessarily mean you're getting no minutes.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
you can still play really, you can still be like a six man who gets like 24 to 30 minutes.
like Lou
So
Will.
it's not like you're not getting playtime.
Yeah,
Um, so I think it would be good for them because I mean you're not benching Clay, you're not benching Steph, you're not benching Draymond.
yeah,
I mean you just drafted Wiseman, so
yeah, yeah, you're right,
and
man.
I think Andrew Wiggins would be better off the bench than Kelly Oubre
Yeah.
as far as like dictating an offense and stuff.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I mean, like obviously not just because he's a guard, but like he just I don't want to say he has more potential, but at this point in their careers, Andrew was a better option than Kelly.
Yeah, it's something about like Andrew Wiggins can create his own shot.
Yeah.
I think Kelly Oubre, I mean, he can beat someone off the dribble, but like as far as create a shot, that's not really his strength.
Hmm. All right then. Well, that concludes today's podcast. Thank you so much, Luis, for joining me. It is like I know last week we didn't upload an episode, and nor were we able to upload that Wednesday podcast episode that we had in mind. But
Mm-hmm.
we are out here in Texas, where the weather got pretty crazy. I mean, I lost power for a minute, and I know a lot of people in this area, went with either without water or without light. So
Mm-hmm.
we have no electricity. Obviously, we won't be able to upload these type of episodes. So I
Yeah.
we do apologize for that. But I mean, hopefully we are able to, now that we have now that everything's going back to normal out here in Texas. Hopefully, we're able to proceed as scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I mean, I think you hit everything. I mean, yeah, I mean, I was out for power for from Sunday to Thursday, so
Hmm.
that's kind of like where we end up recording or
Yeah.
end up uploading. So that kind of threw it off a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you talked about having that Wednesday episode. Hopefully, we're able to actually upload it because I mean, we did have it in mind for I think like damn near almost 3 weeks. We've like ended,
Yeah.
and we just haven't been able to release it. If it's not one thing, just something else happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, because I believe, I'm looking forward to that, to having those hot takes And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it to you, bro. You're gonna have to come up with that that title, like to how we're gonna call it. Obviously, we call these the Acid Drop episodes. So you're gonna have to come up with a name on. I don't want to put the pressure on you, but I mean,
No, no, you're good.
I'd like to hear an idea from you, like where or what name you would you're kind of thinking of
Mm.
on because I mean
Yeah, I'll come up with something.
yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, bro. My mind's kind of I don't want to say blank, but I haven't been able to just to actually come up with a name or a name
Yeah, yeah,
to use.
yeah, yeah. We'll come up with something.
No, well, all right, guys. I hope y'all like this. I hope y'all like this episode. It is a fairly long episode, but we did have a lot to talk about, and I had a fun time talking about it with you, bro, as always.
Hey, me too, man.
All right, well, thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all have a very good night.
All right, peace.